Well, welcome everyone. This is part one of Impact San Antonio's 2022 agency training. And we really appreciate all of you joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Gerritsen. I'm the VP of Operations on the Impact San Antonio Board of Directors. Each spring we host an agency training. This year we've actually split our training into two parts, and we'll talk more about that shortly. Now I'd like to introduce you to the other key members of our Impact San Antonio Board who are specifically involved in what we call our end-to-end grant process. Co-chairing our agencies and applications committee are Jenny McNaughton and Tony Reisterwood. They'll be your primary contacts throughout the application process this year. Also with us today are Ann Leday and Yvonne Grotus, our co-chairs of grant review. Ann and Yvonne lead our member volunteers through the review of your project applications. Audrey Laird and Susan Wampler are co-chairs for the Grant Oversight and Outcomes Committee. They have the task of working with grant recipients from the time the grants are awarded all the way through to the completion of the grant projects to include outcomes reporting. Also joining us today are Jen Bly, our technical lead, and Mary Hitt, our treasurer. Jen oversees the systems we use, including the grant management system, and as treasurer, Mary helps ensure that we're gathering and analyzing the most appropriate financial information throughout the application process. All right, so now we're going to look at our agenda. Just a quick look. We've switched up our training this year and split it into two pieces so that they're more closely aligned with our two-step application process. In addition, our goal is really to provide you the information you need a little bit closer to when you actually need it. Today, we'll briefly cover the overall Impact San Antonio grant process. Then we'll focus in on what we call step one of our application, the organizational questionnaire, and our review of the organizational readiness of our applicants. On May 12th, we'll provide guidance on the project application, which is our step two, as well as our grant review process, all the way through to grant award night in part two of our training. And as a reminder, these slides, as well as an audio recording of today's training, will be posted on our website no later than April 11th. Before we move forward, I just want to say on behalf of Impact San Antonio, thank you, all area nonprofits, for the really tremendous work that you continue to do to serve the needs of our community. Needs that were only further compounded by the pandemic. The resilience and resourcefulness you've shown, and the innovative ways that so many of you have found to expand services, often while facing challenges of your own, are really inspiring. You reinforce the fundamental role that nonprofits play in equitable and thriving communities. So thank you again. Now, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Impact San Antonio, let me introduce you. So what makes Impact SA unique? Well, first, we're a group of like-hearted women who come together for the shared purpose of helping our community. Each membership contributes $1,000 for the year, with 100% of that $1,000 going to fund significant grants. We don't use it to cover operating expenses. A woman can join as an individual member for $1,000, or up to 4 women can join together to form what we call a shared membership. Individual member contributions are pooled to create sizable grants of $100,000 each. Our process to choose the grant recipients involves Impact San Antonio member volunteers engaging in a rigorous process to determine which grant proposals they believe will deliver the most impactful results. Each year in October, our agency finalists make their presentations to the full Impact San Antonio membership, who then cast their votes to determine which ones will receive high impact grants. Our goal is to be able to award high impact grants in each of our 5 focus areas. The number of grants awarded each year is determined by the number of memberships and resulting size of our grant pool. So keep spreading the word about Impact San Antonio. Now let's review our 5 Impact San Antonio focus areas. Arts and culture focuses on improving the culture and artistic climate of the community. Education covers increasing access and improving educational opportunities. Environment, recreation, and preservation includes both conserving and revitalizing the natural environment, as well as improving recreational facilities and preserving historic sites. Family focuses on strengthening the lives of children and families. And last but not least, health and wellness includes grants that positively impact the mental or physical health of area residents. Now, we're going to go on to the impact that we make. Since 2005, Impact San Antonio has awarded over $4.8 million in grants. But of greater importance are the meaningful outcomes that our area nonprofits have been able to deliver as a result of those grants. Many programs and projects that Impact San Antonio has helped to fund over the years have contributed to significant positive impact in our community. In addition to delivering new and improved services, programs, and facilities, as well as serving more clients in need, past recipients have shared that being an Impact San Antonio grant recipient has also served as a springboard for additional funding and expanded partnerships. These are just a few photos showing projects and programs of past grant recipients in action. Okay, so let's look at the highlights of this year's grants. Again, high impact grants will be $100,000 each. During the past 2 years, Impact San Antonio recognized the continued financial effects of the pandemic, and we accepted applications for projects to sustain all or part of an existing program that had been impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. But in 2022, we have returned to our 3 traditional funding categories, which are new programs, expanding existing programs, or capital investments construction projects. In the project application, 10% of every project budget will be automatically allocated for indirect costs or overhead. And finally, we will begin distributing 2022 grant funds in November. This picture puts the 2-step application process in context of the overall end-to-end grant timeline. You'll have until Friday, April 22nd at 5 p.m. to submit your agency's organizational questionnaire, which we call Step 1. You'll then be notified the results of your readiness review by Monday, May 9th. Part 2 of our training will take place on May 12th, and then you'll have until Friday, May 27th, again at 5 p.m., to submit a project application. Our grant review teams will work through the summer, reviewing and evaluating all project proposals. We will announce grant finalists in September and culminate the year with grant award night in October. Now I'll hand the program over to Jenny McNaughton, who's going to share more about our 2022 grant application process.